Gman, here we go. Episode 4. This is very much a special episode because we are talking about February 22nd. Look, I've said, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, the greatest fight card ever. At least in my lifetime.
Well, in mine as well. You say a special episode for a special card. Yeah. This is just... every time I start just talking about this card, it brings a smile. It's the same with you. Yeah. You cannot help but smile when you think of this card.
It's almost... It's going to sound stupid, but it's almost too good. Like,
no,
do you know what I mean?
It can never be too good.
Yeah, you're right. It can never be too good. But I almost feel... The reason I say that is because I almost feel like some fights have almost been lost in this. Like Smith-Boakye for me is an incredible fight. And it's barely got any headlines. No one's talking about it. Where Smith-Boakye over here, regardless of whether people say Smith is no longer the guy he once was, Smith-Boakye over here is a massive fight.
0-2, easily.
Yeah. Or what's that arena in Liverpool? It used to be called the Echo. M&S Bank Arena.
Yeah.
It does that easily.
It does all those arenas. Yeah. It's top of a bill, no questions asked. You roll at the red carpet for this fight. We're talking about potentially maybe opening the show. Just let that sink in. Callum Smith, Joshua Boakye, right? If I told you, say 2.5, 3 years ago, that fight's going to happen, you'd say, oh yeah, top of the bill, opening the card.
Those are two things I would have said. I would have said top of the bill, and I would have said, oh, world title.
Yeah, you would have said world
title. Oh, they must be fighting for a world title then. So the fact it's opening the card, I mean, again, that's why I say it's the greatest fight card ever, because of things like that.
When you just even say that, like, you're like, opening a card, not for a world title, Smith-Boakye, you can't help but just giggle and laugh. You're like, that's how good this card is.
What's the fight you're most interested about on the card? Like, if you only could watch one fight on this card, which one is it?
I feel bad for saying it because Beterbiev Bivol 2 is such a good fight and it's going to be as good as the first one. But it has to be DuBois Parker.
Are you saying that because you've already seen Beterbiev Bivol? Like, if you'd never seen Beterbiev Bivol, like if this was the first time Beterbiev Bivol would fight, would it still be?
Yeah,
DuBois
it probably would. No, if it was the first time, I would say, because that was for me. That was the fight to make for years. Even before Fury fought Usyk, for me, that was the fight to make. I've seen it now. It was brilliant. Don't get me wrong, it was brilliant. But I haven't seen DuBois Parker. And I think that has destruction written all over it.
Oh yeah,
and that's what I want to see.
Yeah. I mean, that fight there, DuBois just turned into this monster. And let's not forget the work that Parker did prior to this little exodus of boxing. Like, Parker's been put on the shelf for a little bit. Before that, Parker's had a good run as well. Zhang and Wilder were good wins.
But we don't talk about, both guys have had to come through pretty much the lowest of the low in their careers. Yeah. Joe Parker never knocked out. Yeah, he'd been dropped a few, but never like that. Picked himself up from that. Daniel DuBois quit against Alexander Usyk, and he was put back into the deep end, a bit like Joseph Parker. Both guys came through that. And now both guys, in the form of their careers, two most informed heavyweights in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, couldn't argue that. Honestly, couldn't argue. I know Cody would like to put his name in there, but you're right. I mean, both guys are incredible. Two definite top 5 heavyweights. With Fury now retired, DuBois is definitely number 2. And you can make an argument that Parker's number 4, maybe higher. I'm not quite sure.
Higher. Maybe
number 3.
Joshua was taking a loss.
Yeah.
You know, Usyk 1 and 2, and then, you could say Fury's not there. You could say number 3.
You could say this is 2 versus 3, and that's how it should be for a world title.
Because if you look at Piccoli, Anderson, how does he compare to Zhang and Wilder?
It doesn't.
There you go.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. My fight that I'm not intrigued. It doesn't have the same intrigue as DuBois Parker, but it's Shakur Stevenson versus Floyd Schofield. You know what? I love a bit of trash talk.
Yeah.
I love a bit of trash talk, especially young Americans that are very proud and boastful. And Shakur has not had the best 12 months. He's been injured. Prior to his injury, he was getting booed.
Oh, yeah.
You know, remember when he kind of went on the rampage, he kind of attacking everyone that kind of said the fight was rubbish and it wasn't great. And then you got Floyd Schofield, who is unbeaten, young kid. Yes, not at Shakur's level, but he's going to bring it. He is going to bring it until he can't bring it anymore.
I remember at the kickoff press conference, people were saying, no, you shouldn't take this fight. But I'm not listening to them. He fully 100% believes in himself.
Yeah.
Else he wouldn't have took this fight.
Yeah, it's very interesting you said it, because Oscar said no.
Yeah.
Oscar said he's not ready. And I thought, okay, that was that then. Your promoters decided you're not ready, you're not fighting. His dad and him have pushed this. And some people might say they've pushed it because of the payday. Okay, yes, cool, fair, you are getting paid. But he's obviously seen something in Shakur and he's thinking, he ain't as good as you guys think he is. I think he is, but he's thinking that.
If Schofield was older, much older, I'd say, yeah, you're probably right. Just say like in his late 20s. I think he's looking and thinking, no, you're not that good. I'm the new kid in the block. I've got longevity in me. Never mind the money. I'll fight you for free.
Wow.
I guarantee that's what he's thinking.
Wow.
He really, truly, I believe he believes in himself. That doesn't mean he's necessarily going to win,
Yeah.
but I think he believes in himself wholeheartedly.
And I can't wait to see Shakur Stevenson up close and personal.
Oh, it's going to be
I mean, I watched Shakur like pretty much most of his fights as he's been a legit top fighter. And I've been watching him from afar. I've stayed up late to watch his fights. I mean, that performance against Oscar Valdez is his best performance. I need to see that Shakur. Spiteful, aggressive, angry.
Special. I remember when he fought Herring as well. That was a really good. That was another one, a really good performance. And Herring was in good form going into that fight. They're the performances we remember. They're the ones we want to see.
Yeah, I want to go back to what I said about him 12 months ago. And I said, if this guy is not a pound for pounder, like top 2, top 3 in a couple of years, something's gone wrong. I even said I think he can go up to 147.
Oh, yeah.
I need to see that Shakur. The guy that I thought, yep, he beats Javante, he beats Devon, he beats Teofimo, he beats all of them. And I haven't seen that Shakur now for a couple of fights. It's there. I just need to see it. I need to see the full package again.
I wonder, is it because we haven't seen the proper challenge and the proper danger?
Maybe.
Floyd Schofield is going to bring that out.
Maybe.
He's going to bring a challenge. He's going to bring danger.
You're
and
right.
I think that's how we get Shakur. If we're putting Shakur in, he fought on a Thursday night one of the nights. If we're having him on a Thursday night against someone who's going to, just try and do whatever he can, this, that, and the other, Shakur's going to just, okay, I don't need to get out of first gear. Why should I? He's going to need to do that against Floyd Schofield.
And he did it against Valdez. You're spot on. And obviously the challenges get bigger after Floyd, because after Floyd Schofield, there's a lot of talk about him going up to 140. And then you start to really dance with some good guys. And then I agree with you. I think we're going to see the Shakur that everyone's been talking about. The Shakur that's trained alongside Andre Ward and Terence Crawford, and Floyd Mayweather recently has shown him a few things. You can't get all that guidance, be as good as you are, be an Olympian, a very good Olympian, and not be special. I'm sorry. No. No. You failed.
And he was so young as an Olympian. He was pro. He was a world champion in only a handful of fights. This kid is talented. We know that.
Okay.
We absolutely know that.
All right, so that's that fight then. Let's talk Hamza Sheraz versus... Let me get it correctly. Carlos Adamez versus Hamza Sheraz. Everyone start saying it correctly, because champion first. Obviously, as we're filming this, Carlos Adamez does seem to have problems getting into Saudi, which I'm sure will be sorted. I think his visa issues will be sorted. He'll be there. I can guarantee that. Who's favourite in this fight?
Well, me personally, I'm making Hamza Sheraz favourite.
Okay.
I think that... I remember him against Bradley Skeet a couple of years ago. Yeah. And he didn't look good in that fight.
No, he hit Bradley when Bradley was down.
He hit Bradley when Bradley was down. Bradley Skeet was a mile ahead, country mile ahead in that fight. But since then, it's just been improvement after improvement after improvement. He's gone and based himself in America, where they do not take kindly to, British fighters coming over there. They make sure to introduce you full and hard. They really do. Yeah. He's got through that. He's sticking with it. He's brought the level up each fight, and each fight he's just looked devastating. Liam Williams, Tyler Denny, Amo Williams. Yeah. It's just one after the other.
Yeah, and it's the way in which he's finishing those guys as well. Like the Tyler Denny one. Remember, this is the Tyler Denny that beat up Felix Cash. Yeah. Remember that fight got kind of stopped early. And look, Tyler was always an underdog, but treat them like an underdog. And he bashed Tyler Denny. I mean, Tyler Denny, European champion champion that he kind of just swatted away like a fly. He's so big for the weight. He obviously lives the life, and you have to make that weight.
Yeah, he's
but massive. I think you made a great point. He's in America, where they hear a British voice, and they're like, okay, let's see what you got. So he's getting tested left, right, and centre. There are so many, as you know, more than I do. There are so many different styles in America. The Europeans are there, so you got those styles for sparring. The Cubans are floating around. You get those styles. You get the slicksters. You get the switch hitters. He's facing different style every single time in sparring.
He's seeing them. He's seeing every different style. Southpaw, orthodox, big puncher, mover, etc. In the nicest way in the UK, you're really kind of only seeing, for the most part, the one style. Yeah. You're really only seeing one style. Maybe you spar some amateurs who are going to throw a lot of punches, but that's really it. He is just... Think of the sparring sessions he's having over there and how much he's learning from those
because
sessions.
Of the size of him, imagine the people that are stepping up to challenge him. I mean, honestly, he's probably sparring cruiserweights.
It has to be.
He's sparring cruiserweights because he's so big.
His arm length is just insanity. Yeah. He's huge.
You know what it is? I almost feel like I'm willing him to win because I'm desperate for him to be the star. Do you know what I mean? Like, same with Ben Whittaker.
Yeah.
When I see a guy and I sit down and I talk to them and they speak well and he looks the part, he's a good looking kid, he's got a fan base, I'm like, please, we need stars over here, be the star.
And he, as you said, he is like Ben Whittaker in that regard. He has that star attraction.
Got it.
Can speak entertaining.
Yes.
It's not like he's a fighter who can speak, he's good looking,
And
but
then
you
he's
look at
boring
him and
in
he's
the
boring.
ring.
He is entertaining.
Yeah.
He goes for the jugular, he goes for knockouts, and more often than not, he gets that knockout. So you look at him and you're like, we want you to be a star.
And Turkey's desperate for him to be a star.
Oh, he is.
Obviously, he's an ambassador of Riyadh season. Turkey with this, okay, you could fight Canelo carrot. Imagine that. Imagine Hamza. Wait, let's play this around, actually. Imagine Hamza 12 months ago, and then someone saying, you could fight Canelo.
This time 12 months ago, he was in the copper box.
You know,
he was literally
crazy
in the copper box this time 12 months ago. I know because I was ringside. I was at that fight. And now we're talking about the Canelo carrots being dangled. It's like, what?
I think, this is what I think's happened, by the way, with that. I think it's already pretty much a done deal that if Eubank beats Ben and Hamza beats Carlos Adamez, I think they fight.
Yep.
Because that Canelo thing was Eubank or Hamza.
Yeah.
So I think it's a case of those two will fight if they both win their fights. And then I think Hamza goes to 168.
Oh, he has to. I think it's a matter of time.
Literally, if you're Hamza, it's like a lottery tickets in front of you. If you can just get past, I say just, it's not easy, but if you can get past Carlos Adamez, you've got Eubank, stadium fight, and then potentially get Canelo.
And where do you get it in Las Vegas? Do you get it in Riyadh?
Anywhere.
But either way,
Mars.
it's gonna make you a star.
Yeah,
it's gonna
that's
make
how
you
close he
an
is to
absolute
being a star. But Carlos Adamez is
I was literally gonna say we're talking about all the superlatives, but look at the man. This is no scrub. Carlos Adamez is a very good champion, good puncher too.
Yeah, and he'll be reading and seeing all the headlines, and he'll look at what Turkey put out there as well. Like, oh, so you're making plans for Hamza? That's interesting because I'm the champion. Should I not be in that thing?
Yeah,
Should it not say
name?
Carlos Adamez, Canelo? Like, what's going on here? How are you picking the non-champion against me? So I think if I'm Carlos, backs against the wall, and this is a chance to cash in your lottery ticket as well.
Yeah. And you're looking and you're thinking, do you know what? Ammo Williams, I'm better than Ammo Williams.
And Ammo Williams caught him a couple of times.
He caught him early, stunned him early. I'm better than that. I've forgotten more than Ammo Williams. You're in for it tonight.
Yeah, in for it indeed. Agit Kabayel versus Zhilei Zhang. We still don't know which one. I point to the camera to talk to you guys because we still don't know if it's going to be Callum Smith-Boatsi that walks first or Zhang Kabayel. Either one. I mean, this is crazy.
I mean, again, I go back to Callum Smith, Joshua Boatsi. Headline act 02, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Main event, Kabayel, Zhilei Zhang, no questions asked. One of these is going to open. What the hell?
That's crazy.
One of these is actually going to open it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. We were doing the rankings, weren't we, just now? Like Usyk number 1, DuBois 2, potentially Parker 3. If that's the case, then Zhang and Kabayel alongside Bakoli could be 4, 5, 6. So you've got number 4 or 5 fighting each other here, or 4, 6, 5, 6, whatever. But you've got 2 top 6 guys fighting.
They're in that argument. They're in that, echelon. And
who's favourite in that?
I'm making Zhang slight favourite.
Okay.
I'm making Zhang, but I really don't know because you look at someone like Agit Kabayel. Listen, Agit Kabayel, when he fought Chisora years ago, you looked and you thought, okay, he's all right. Yeah. He's European level. I thought he would get absolutely annihilated by Arslan Makhmudov.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroyed him. Exposed him.
He's
ruined
rubbish,
him.
isn't he?
He ruined him.
Yeah. I feel bad. Sorry. I'll take that back saying he's rubbish. But I saw Arslan Makhmudov and I thought he's the scariest looking heavyweight I've ever seen. Maybe he did that kind of twitch thing with his neck. And I watched his fight recently. Well, I say recently, a couple of months ago. He's done.
Yeah, he's finished.
He's done. He's done. And Kabayel did that.
Kabayel, all he had to do was survive a couple of rounds, went to the body, and he's like, right, you're done. You're finished.
Yeah.
And that's what he
Broke
did.
him in half.
And then he fights Frank Sanchez, unbeaten. And I used to, oh man, I will still say it now. Fully fit Frank Sanchez, him and Usyk.
Yeah. Frank Sanchez, he clearly has knee problems. There's leg problems, and I think they're always going to be there. I think that's him.
One thing people don't pick up, right? That first round, Frank Sanchez really did try. He really did try. He tried to minimize it. He won that round, and he won it big. It was really then the knee problem. Really,
I said to someone because Frank was standing in the same hotel as me. And I'd see him in the gym most mornings. And I remember saying to Chris Mannix, and I wrote it down because Chris was on comms with Grisham and I can't remember who else. And I said, there's a knee issue here. Because I saw him with a big, not a bandage, but them kind of almost like a stretchy thing in your knee. Almost like a bit of elasticated kind of thing.
You don't wear them unless there's a problem.
I'm like, well, why has he got that on? And I thought, okay, not to take away from Kabayel's performance.
No, of course not. It was a great performance.
It wasn't the Frank Sanchez he fought, I don't think.
I think if it had been the Frank Sanchez who fought F.A. Jagba, we might not be talking about Zhang versus Kabayel. We might be talking about Zhang versus Sanchez.
Yeah. I'm going to swing Kabayel. I'm going to swing Kabayel. You know what it is about Zhang? Was he 42? Zhang 41, 42. There's clearly a gas tank problem.
That's the problem.
And I don't think you improve that at 41 and 19 stone. Do you know what I mean? Unless you, and he did come down a bit lighter in his last fight against Wilder, but he's still going to be 280. And he's 41, and Kabayel moves. Kabayel goes to the body. He's going to try and chop you down like a tree. I think I make Kabayel favourite here.
The one thing I will say is look at the Parker fight, right? Parker can move, right? Maybe not as good as Kabayel. He's a bit heavier. But look at the shot that dropped Parker.
It was frightening.
They didn't even look like... Bear in mind, Makhmudov was loading
taps.
up. These were little taps, and Parker was... What the hell happened?
Do you know, I tweeted... When Parker went down the second time, I think I tweeted, Zhang could be the best heavyweight in the world. That's what I tweeted. And then Andy Lee showed me the tweet after. He's like, really? And I was like, wow, I got it wrong.
That came back to bite you.
For the first 5 rounds, Zhang looked like the scariest fight I've ever seen in my life.
The third round knockdown, a little nothing shot. Boom, Parker is like, you're like, what the... And he even had the look in his face like, what was that?
What was that?
What the hell was that?
Yeah. Even the scorecards at the end. I mean, look, Parker won, I think, but with 2 knockdowns, and I thought Zhang kind of won the first 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Zhang can feel a little aggrieved. There was supposed to be a rematch as well, by the way.
There was supposed to be. I remember that.
Just seemed to vanish.
Zhang can feel aggrieved. He'll probably think he won the fight. He'll probably kick himself that he didn't have better stamina because he's thinking, even if I was just... Because he put Parker in his place, really, with that power.
Dude.
He's thinking, if all I needed to do was throw a few more shots, it would stop him from throwing more shots, I win that round. And that's it. It's done. I just can't see... I can't see Kabayel being as cute as Joseph Parker early on. I can see him walking onto something. And Parker... See, here's the thing. Experience. Parker's been down before. He's been in with big guys. He's been in with big punchers. He knows how to get through it. I've never seen Kabayel down. I've never seen him in with someone who is going to be, who's as good, because I think we'd all pick Kabayel every day over Makhmudov.
I mean, yeah, you look at who's Parker's fought, the resume, win or lose. I mean, he's been in there with big punchers, experienced guys. He knows how to survive. Even when he got put down by Zhang, an inexperienced fight, he bounces straight back up. He took that 9 count.
Kabayel went from the Chisora fight, he went through a Baron's patch of just fighting cherry pick, and then all of a sudden he's into the deep end. So how is he going to react?
But he's swimming in the deep end.
He's swimming in the deep end.
He's swimming in the deep end. He hasn't got armbands. This guy is floating in this water, and I think he likes being the underdog. Yeah, I think he's unbeaten.
Yeah, he's unbeaten.
I think we forget this sometimes, the Cabby. He's unbeaten.
And I think the last 2 fights he went in as underdog.
Yep, he did.
He's probably going into this fight kind of more 50-50.
Yeah.
But maybe that's even better. Maybe he goes into this fight thinking, oh, now they actually see what I can do. Yeah. Wait until I show you now.
Yeah. I still think he's searching for that. And this might be it, where we get excited about Kabayel versus one of the real big dogs. Yeah. But me and you mentioned it the other day, like Kabayel versus Joshua, no thank you.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Kabayel versus Usyk, no thank you. But if he wins this one, all of a sudden, maybe Kabayel versus any of those guys makes sense.
I think that's the thing. We still look at Kabayel as just kind of, oh, he's just that guy. Because for the longest time, he was always in the rankings, but he's always just, oh, him, Kabayel. If he beats Zhilei Zhang and he beats him well, he's now, what about Kabayel?
Interesting. All right, before we get to the main event, and let's not forget the main event is Beterbiev Bivol, I want to quickly get your predictions, rounds, whatever, KOs, points on those ones. So let's go Smith-Boakye. Who again?
Boakye, 10th round KO.
Oh, okay.
I think he'll stop Callum Smith.
Interesting. I have to be a bit careful here, guys, just because I'm working on the event and I see these guys. So I'm going to let Gman here put his foot in it. All right, so Kabayel Zhang.
Zhang, mid-rounds.
Okay,
rounds.
Cool.
I'm going to say rounds 4 or 5.
Okay, Hamza, Sheraz, Carlos Adamez. What a fight card this is, by the way. That might be the toughest one to call.
That is, I think Hamza Sheraz is going to win. But I think that he'll drop Carlos Adamez, but he'll win it on points.
Okay, cool.
He'll win it on points. I think Carlos Adamez is so good.
Tough as well.
He's so good. Don't sleep on him.
Strong, big. I think this is a
there'll be at least one knockdown.
Yeah.
At least.
Hamza could get knocked down.
Yeah.
All right, Floyd Shakur versus Floyd.
Shakur points.
Points. I think he needs to do more than that, Shakur.
I don't think he'll be able to. I think Schofield will be resilient. He'll be game. He'll give as good as he gets, but he'll go down the points road.
Okay, DuBois Parker.
DuBois KO. Mid-rounds.
So what's that then? So that's 3 world title fights in those, right? Carlos Adamez world title fight, Shakur world title fight, and DuBois Parker, what?
4.
And now we're going to talk about this one. We're going to end on this one because this is the big one. Beterbiev Bivol 2. Who won the first fight?
Beterbiev.
Okay.
And I mean, he did. When I watched it first, I thought Bivol, but when I watched it back, no, Beterbiev won it.
You seen what? 7-5. Close.
Oh, 7-5.
8-4, 7-5.
You could
okay.
not. Yeah, 7-5.
Yeah, 8-4 would be
8-4
disrespectful.
would be just...
Yeah, 7-5. Okay, who does this fight turning around so quickly favour of the two?
Beterbiev,
this is quite
definitely.
quick. Okay.
Beterbiev.
You think Beterbiev wins this? Then you're so confident. Yeah, I can tell. But even before I ask you, you clearly gone Beterbiev. Even though you know I'm Team Bivol, you've clearly
even
gone Beterbiev.
Even though I'm actually going to pick Bivol to win this fight. Even though I'm actually going to pick him to win this fight, I think it does favour Beterbiev because Beterbiev has been a once-a-year type of guy. He's been a once-a-year. He's 40 years old now. But the fact this is coming less than 6 months after the first fight, that to me is nothing but good. Because it means he's
favour a
straight back
guy
in.
when you're that old? Doesn't it favour your body recovering and taking a longer out the ring? I look at someone like Crawford, and I've been very critical of Crawford. Like, why does he take so long? 1 fight a year. But he seems to fight so well in that 1 fight a year. And I just wonder if the long layoffs for older people are better than these little short bursts.
He does, but then I was going to say Povetkin when he fought Dana White, but we all know about him. We all know about him. But we do see certain fighters, they look so good in one fight, they take maybe a year out of the ring, they've grown out overnight.
Yeah,
they didn't take any punishment in the previous fight. They just overnight grow old. Kovalev when he fought Yard, actually is a good example, looked great against Alida Alvarez. 5 months later, looked old. Now he won it, but he looked really old.
A few
in
months
that
after that, Canelo slept him. So
exactly.
Yeah, you're right in that sense. I think this does favour Beterbiev as well. I'm thinking more from the knee standpoint.
Yeah.
I think the first fight, I remember speaking to so many people, I was like, okay, look, there's no way his knee holds up. And Bivol's a bit of a mover and he's going to have to pivot and swivel. The knee's not going to... And he must have, in the back of his mind, thought, this knee, I had surgery. All of a sudden, the knee was good. It wasn't 100%. I know that for a fact. It's going to be 100% now.
Yeah, because it wasn't. It was not long before June, which when they were meant to have the fight.
Yeah.
June to October is not that long. It's only about 4 months. For
if he was a footballer, he'd be out for a year with that kind of injury. Yeah.
And it held up very well. But I think with Bivol knows. Bivol is one of those fighters where he's like, you ever see when they talk about Loma and Usyk? He's like one of those guys downloading. He's downloaded Beterbiev. And I genuinely think going into this rematch, he'll have the bit between his teeth. He'll know what he needs to do. Beterbiev, likewise, will know what he needs to do. But Beterbiev threw arm punches. Yeah. Let that sink in. If Beterbiev wanted to, he really could have sat down on those shots.
Yeah, Beterbiev only seemed to sit down. He doesn't waste shots, Beterbiev. He's actually quite smart. That's one thing I realised. I always watched these older fighters, older in age. Bernard Hopkins, very similar. Yeah. They don't waste shots. They only throw when they know they're going to get you. He's not trying to wing away. And I feel like Bivol's going to take a lot of confidence from the fact that he stayed in the wheelhouse a few times and landed his own shots and stumbled Beterbiev a little bit. My fear is that he might get overconfident and stay in that pocket just a bit too long.
That's the risk. But Bivol will know, right, I'm the one guy. Yeah, I lost, but I saw the final bell. Yeah, none of the other guys did.
Yeah.
Maybe I could take it.
I didn't go down.
Don't think that.
I took a punch. Didn't go down.
Don't think that, because this guy has freakish power. You hear people say, like, Beterbiev's power is next level.
Dude, I remember, what's his name? I forgot his name now. Who fought Joshua Buatsi, English guy, recently.
Dan Aziz?
Dan Aziz, thank you. Dan Aziz said he went to spar Beterbiev.
Oh, I can imagine, man.
And he said it was just like, what is this?
This is a guy who dropped Alexander Usyk.
Yeah, this is the Beterbiev sparring. I remember when you're sparring Beterbiev, you're sparring a 200-pound Beterbiev. Not the 175 guy, you're sparring a 200-pound guy. So I think it's frightening. I'm heart says Bivol, head says Beterbiev. I would love... I'm so split on this because on the one hand, I want Bivol to get the W so he can become undisputed because I feel like he deserves it because he's so good. But then that means there's a trilogy.
That's it.
And then I don't want to see a trilogy because I want to see Beterbiev versus Benavidez.
You want to see absolute carnage.
I want to see
pure carnage.
And that would be a car crash. So I'm kind of split on it. I think Bivol might win it, but I don't know. And that's what it should be. Undisputed should be that. But it shouldn't be Canelo, William Skull. It should be this.
Look, no disrespect to William Skull, but we said it when we were talking about that in the previous. We're like, yeah, Canelo's going to win that. It's simple. Oh yeah, Canelo's going to win that, and it's going to be undisputed with Crawford. Yeah. With this one, we're like, flip a coin. Which one?
Yeah, honestly, again, if it's not the greatest card, and there'll be some boxing hipsters, I don't know, Don King, show me. Don't say Don King put it on in the 80s. Show me the card and let me dissect it. Because what I've seen people do, and they have shown me, a few people have sent me Don King cards, but it's names. It's names that weren't names, but then became names, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't show me a guy that was on there who's a superstar, but was 8-0, and then later on in life became this superhuman. Show me live dogs now. Every single fight on this card, at worst... All right, let's go through it. Callum Smith versus Boatsy is a 50-50 scrap.
50-50 scrap.
Hamza Sheraz Adamez is 50-50.
Yep.
Zhang Kabayel for me is a 50-50 scrap.
Definitely.
DuBois Parker, DuBois 60-40.
Yeah, that's not... Yeah, that's a
Beterbiev
little bit
Bivol
more.
50-50.
50-50.
And Floyd Schofield Shakur 70-30.
70-30.
That's... Come on.
I mean, 50-50 fights. The worst is 70-30.
Four
That's
world
the
title
worst
fights.
in
Four
four
world title fights. One undisputed.
And the other two fights have world title implications on them.
They're both final eliminators.
The winner will challenge for a world title. So it's not like any of these fights are just there for the sake of it. You know, he's fighting. No. Every fight has a purpose. If it's not a world title fight, it's to get you a world title fight next.
Honestly, this is the Super Bowl of all Super Bowls. I mean, Riyadh Season, Ring Magazine have given us so much. They've given us so much.
It's incredible.
But this, we don't deserve this.
We do deserve it. We do deserve this.
Maybe we do.
We spent so much time in the wilderness looking. If we got a big fight, we were so happy we got the one big fight. Whatever the undercard was, it's okay, the undercard, whatever it is. That's not the case anymore.
All right, final 20 seconds. Give me one thing that you think could happen crazy in these events. Like one shock that could happen. Like if there's going to be a shock, who's it going to be?
I'm going to say Joe Parker knocking DuBois out.
Okay, yeah.
That's
could happen, you know.
I wouldn't rule it out.
That could happen.
Daniel DuBois
I'm with you on that one.
So
Everything
ahead.
else, I feel like I kind of know where.
Daniel DuBois is
that one
talking about
happen.
Usyk.
Yep.
Give me my Usyk. Mate, you've got a hard task in front of you.
Yeah, that could really... I'm with you. I was going to sort of go left field and think of something, but no, I'm with you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
That could be it. And you know what? It might not be as big a shock as people think.
I don't think it will
It might not be as big a shock because Joseph Parker ready.
He is
Joseph
seriously
Parker
ready.
Andy Lee, that team, they're ready.
I've seen those videos he's been putting up on his channel. Man, he looks in the zone. He really does.
In the zone. I like it. In the zone.
In the zone. On the zone.
And on that bombshell, we'll see you. Guys, thank you very much again for watching this episode. Please like, share, comments. Give us your predictions in there as well. What shock do you think will happen? Who do you think will steal the show? Is it the greatest fight card ever? And the most important thing, Gman's channel. The link is in the description. Please go and subscribe. It'll help him. It'll help me. Help all of us, right, to grow this community. We'll see you in another one.